Hello, welcome to the second episode of the Great News Podcast. This is Rico Cavella, and I welcome you to our second episode, which is still just me. Uh, we're still in the process of lining up some great guest speakers, people who are true change makers in the world that are making big things happen. And I assure you, there's so many of them. There's so many people doing great things, way more than the people that are doing some not so great things, as we know is going on in the world still today. So I'm so excited to get this podcast going and get this message out to the world that we can change things the way they are. So the title of today's episode is The Real Golden Rule versus the Current Golden Rule. And I think you probably know what that is. The real golden rule, and why it's called golden, because it's the wisest concept that we have as mankind, and that is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Now, what makes more sense than that? If I don't steal something from you, you don't steal something from me. If I don't hit you, you don't hit me. How how hard is that to figure out that we will both be better off if we didn't do that? That's pretty simple. But as you know today, the golden rule that actually is ruling today is he who has the gold makes the rules. And how we really got there, I guess it doesn't really matter. That's where we are. We've got that way. We've got the people who can have the most money or have the biggest army, just takes over and makes up their own rules and controls people and just makes the rules so they get all the profits and make all the money in the world, and the rest of people barely survive. So, and I think everybody knows this, and why we allow it to continue is really beyond me. But I think now it's time. It's definitely time where we are in an energy shift on this planet. The light is overcoming the darkness, but we got to step up. The masses of the people have to wake up and step up and realize what's possible. Again, I think the biggest challenge we face as humanity is lack of expectation of what's possible. It is very possible to create all the things that we know we need. We need to have peace. We need to have financial equity among people. We need to get rid of poverty and hunger and racism and all these categories that we've put together. Well, I'll mention that just a minute. So the whole point is, amidst the brilliance and the creativity and the innovation that we have as human beings, why are we still being so stupid? And stupid means just allowing things to go not the way that we could be doing it that would benefit us. Why are we allowing this to happen? Why are we still killing each other? Why are we still fighting with each other? It just makes no sense whatsoever. I think everybody can understand, again, that if we would just cooperate and collaborate, it could be a wonderful life for everyone. And the thing to think about is, again, we've created some amazing advances in everything, and in technology and science and arts and music and all the things that we're so creative, and we create some great things. So why are we not able to create the most important thing of all, peace and good health for everybody? And because, see, we're actually missing out on the masses of people are just trying to survive. They don't have time to use their creativity and their innovation. So just imagine if we were living in peace and we were cooperating and everybody was sharing the resources of the world, and there was a high standard of living for all human beings on this planet. Think of the things that we would have. Think of how much creative things we would be coming up with. It's hard to even imagine all the things that we could be experiencing and enjoying, and it could be an amazing life. So it's time for us to wake up and realize that and begin to make it happen. You know, it all comes down to our belief systems. You know, if you believe whatever you believe, our beliefs are creating our reality. So still, when I talk to people about that, we're creating this new website called the Tree of Positive Intentions. And that's where you can go, people can go and post their positive intention for what they, for the changes that they want to see in the world. And that's at treeofpositiveintentions.com. So I highly recommend that you go there and join our movement. It's free. You can go on there and post your positive intention about the changes that you want to see in the world. And that's going to create a big energy field there on this website. And as we know, everything in the universe is energy. It's pulsating, vibrational impulses of energy and intelligence. And all energy fields affect other energy fields. So the more people that we get to post their positive intentions and believe it, then it makes it happen and more people come on board. So that's at treeofpositiveintentions.com. But the point I was going to make was that we have the power to step up and create the reality that we want. So our beliefs are creating our reality. But when I tell people that we can create peace on this planet, most people say, yeah, that'd be great, but it's never going to happen. That's just human nature. We're always going to be like this. So if that's your belief, then you're part of the problem, not part of the solution. We have to change our beliefs. It's like, you know, the old cliche saying, whether you believe you can or can't do something, you're right. Yes, it's a cliche, but it's the right. It's what wisdom. That is very true. If you don't believe you can create something, you're not going to, most likely not going to be able to create it. But if you believe you can, then you give yourself a really good chance to actually create something. So that's so important to, I know everybody's aware of that, but are you doing it? Are you believing that you can, that we can do this? So we need you to start believing that you can. And so, you know, people will say it's human nature. Well, it may be some of our human nature that we're greedy and we're selfish and all that, but okay, even if that's totally true, we could overcome that because we're not just this human body. We're not just our human nature. We are eternal spiritual beings. And so we have a higher self. And I think that's one of our real reasons for being here on this planet is to connect to our higher self, to become self and God realize that we're part of the creative force that created this amazing universe and this amazing planet and all these amazing human beings. But we're not just human beings. We have a higher self. We're spiritual beings that we can create, just as the creative force created the universe, we can create what we want here on planet Earth. And that's why we're here. I think that's really our challenge. So as we raise our consciousness and tap into our higher selves, we can create the world that we want to. I think that's really our purpose. So it's really consciousness over matter. We know now from quantum physics that our consciousness changes matter. I'm not going to go into some of those studies that they have, you know, where when we are looking for something, we actually see it. But if we don't know what we're looking for, we're not going to see it. So we have to know what we're looking for, and that is to create peace and prosperity and justice and well-being for all of humanity, and get into the notion that we realize that there's only one race on this planet. That's the human race. We're all brothers and sisters. And when we finally wake up and realize that, then we can create an amazing life for everybody here on this planet. So we need people to wake up and make a contribution, get the message out to the world. You know, so again, the few most greedy and corrupt and egotistical and ruthless people that control most of the governments and most of the wealth in the world, they have to go, or they got to change. They have to change, or they got to go. And we can step up and make this happen. And people just have seen. The good thing is now, with technology, that we live in the world of the internet, and we can communicate, and cell phones and all the social media. So the masses of the people can get the right information and realize what's happening and realize that they can take their power back and that they are powerful, and then we can make this changes. Just when enough people step up, then it's going to change. It's just like the old thing way back in the 60s when we were demonstrating against the Vietnam War. You know, there was a saying, what if they had a war and nobody showed up? That's what it is. All the young people are going to have to say in the future, we're not going to war just because some greedy, ignorant, stupid politician or government leader says, oh, we have to go fight these people over here. You say, no, we don't. If you want to go fight, you go fight. We're not going to have any more wars. We don't need to have wars. We need to have cooperation and collaboration and solve our differences and learn how that we can work together. So it's a highly beneficial life for everybody. So we have to get rid of these people who don't believe that and don't want to believe it, and they want to keep control because they're the ones that are benefiting most. Now we can do this. So from all the spiritual teachings that I'm aware of, you know, the light is overcoming the darkness. Although if you listen to the nightly news, you wouldn't know that, because it's all about the doom and gloom. But that's what this great news podcast is all about, I'm going to be interviewing, again, some of the people that are doing some amazing things around the world to make it a much better world for everybody. And there's so much more good news than there's bad news. And we're lining up some really great people currently, that's going to come on here and give their views of what's happening in the world and how we're going to change it, and how their particular mission or their particular organization is making a big change, in how you can get involved as well. So and all of our listeners too, anybody you think that would be a really good guest, or any kind of a group or organization that's doing some amazing, great things, and are promoting the message of world peace and living by the golden rule, we want to let us know about that. We want to have them on this show. So the more people that we come on here and we spread the message, the sooner it's going to happen. It is going to happen. You know, darkness is just an absence of light. So we have to all become light workers, spread the message of peace and prosperity and justice for all. And it's going to happen sooner than later. So that's my message. Let's start living by the golden rule, and then we could all have a fair share of the gold, if you want to put it that way. And I know we can do this. It's an exciting time. There's so much good energy out there, and so many good things are going. So again, that's my hope that we can get the message out to the world, to the masses, as many to let people know about all the good that's going on, and how they can get involved, and how they can help create the changes that they want to see in the world. So all of our audience, if you're listening now, please spread the word. Tell people about the treeofpositiveintentions.com, and tell people to go check out the Great News podcast. Again, we're on all the major platforms, iTunes and Spotify and iHeartRadio and all those. So it's all about up to us. We got to get out, get the message out. We got to wake up, and we got to create the world that we all want to see, and we can do that. So thanks very much for listening. And again, send me your ideas. Let me know if you want to be on yourself. Let me know some people that we need to contact, and to have a great message and have a great movement going on. So that's it. So again, I always remember I used to listen to this radio station in San Francisco when I lived in the Bay Area way back in the 70s. And the guy would say, he'd always end up his news show by saying, if you didn't like today's news, go out and make some of your own. So that's what we have to do. Let's go out and make some good news. Thanks very much for being here.